Alright, well, this water fountain has lights on the inside of it, and here's how I made it. So my initial thought with this project was to make a concrete fountain with the easiest mold possible. So I grabbed one of those cardboard tubes from the hardware store that's made for pouring concrete in, and then I cut two 3-inch sections off the top. So I made it 6 inches shorter, and then split those open to make a larger circle. Because I figured the best way to balance this thing was to just pour a base separate from the rest of the pillar. Alright, the base is dry. The simplest way to do this would be to just pour it like it is and have one solid cylinder that the water bubbles out of the top. That would be the whole feature, but I wanted to make mine a little more complicated than that. So this pillar will have holes in it that light up from the inside. Before I set this on and pour the concrete, I gotta measure for my holes and put that pipe through. I think I can get 3 spots in it, but I might only do 2. We'll see. Each hole is 10 inches apart, and each one is set at a different angle so no 2 holes line up. Alright, so this is my top. I want the lights. The lights need to start from the bottom because I can't have the cord going to the solar panel out the top, obviously. So the solar panel is going to go out the bottom, and each one of these is going to sit on top of this plastic. I think I'm going to like tape them down to it so they don't move. And then once this is all dry, the lights will be in the concrete, and hopefully I can take these and just pop them out and then cut the cardboard off, and I'll have holes with lights inside. But the tricky part is definitely going to be getting these to sit in place and not move when I pour the concrete. I started putting the second light in, and I realized I should probably wait until the concrete is up above the first light. I'm going to need to be able to reach in and make sure the lights are set in properly when I concrete it. So I can't put the second and third light in until the bottom one has concrete around it. So I'm going to try and put the lights in and then concrete up to the light and then put another light in. Alright, the first light looks like it has stayed in its place, so we're gonna keep filling up. Alright, well, this is the uncertain part where I just let it dry and hopefully the whole thing doesn't fall apart and hopefully the concrete's set in. I was packing it in and I realized it started to bow out around the holes and I didn't want it to break, so I stopped packing it in with the stick, so hopefully it doesn't break apart with all the moisture. When it dries, this top pipe will pull out of the elbow because the hose comes up the side, and then I put that little 90s curve in to get it centered, and then I'm going to pop all these out and then probably have to get a screwdriver and scrape excess concrete away from around those lights and then maybe clean them off with something, hopefully. Worst case scenario is the lights get covered by the concrete and don't work well enough, and that's not really a problem because the structure will all still be the same. It will still function as a water fountain, so if the lights don't work, it's whatever, I'll still install it. Uh-oh. All right, I think I'm ready to start putting that thing in the ground and install it. I've cheated this time and I started this hole with my dad's backhoe because we have that on site here. Got it? Thank you.
I'm trying to build the shovel.
You gotta go deeper.
Deeper?
Yeah, let me see that.
Okay.
I'm filling it. I still haven't figured out what I want to do to cover the pump so that I can access it. Right now it's just down in that hole there. I think it is worth noting that when I was setting this in, it cracked. But everything else in it seems really solid, and it's not coming off, it's just cracked through here. So I just have to be really careful with it. I think it's solid enough that I can leave it, and hopefully nobody comes through here and karate chops it. Let's see if this pump is big enough. That's kind of cool. I just leveled it and it's not bad. It's still coming off more on this side, but honestly, I might just set one of those pieces of concrete on here. As heavy and as ridiculous as that is, I need something to cover the hole, and I don't feel like spending any more money. I already have some block here to hold the liner back so that the dirt doesn't cave in the liner. I think I'm just going to set a piece of concrete there and then cover that with river rock, and then bring in my soil to cover the liner and put my plants in. You know the drill. All right, here it is. So I have the liner up on the edges so that when I totally fill it, the water comes up to where I can see it, and then it will evaporate down below the rock, which is totally fine. There's almost 2 feet of reservoir below the rock. I got 2 water plants in here and some other plants around it. I'm gonna get one of those electrical insulators for the extension cord, because at the moment we just have a temporary extension cord running it. We're gonna do some construction over here and I don't want a permanent solution in just yet, so it's only on an extension cord. Cleaning the pump is gonna be a hassle, but it's my own feature. I personally don't mind having to remove the rock and pull that piece up so I can reach in there and clean it. In my experience, I've only had to do that like every 6 months or so to clean these things. If you didn't see my last video, I showed a little bit of how I built this pavilion, and I've updated my website and launched a merch store. So if you want to go check that out, links are in the description below. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, the lights work. I was literally just editing a video to explain how I couldn't get the lights to work. I just don't think I had given them enough of a charge. I had just pulled it out of the dark shop and put it in the ground, and then the lights weren't working. Turns out the lights work.